Pretérito o imperfecto. We're going to compare and contrast the reasons for using the imperfect past tense as opposed to the preterite past tense. And we're going to compare and contrast description today with completed action or, very closely linked, to indicate a series of actions. And they will be completed actions as well. I have an analogy for you to think about for comparing these two. I want you to think of a movie director. And for the imperfect, when you're talking about description, if you can imagine, before the movie director calls action, he has to have all sorts of things set up for the filming of a certain scene. For instance, if it's morning, he has to have the light a certain way. If it's late evening, it's got to be a certain way. If it's supposed to be winter, or if it's supposed to be raining outside. If it's supposed to be in the 1970s, the people have to be dressed a certain way. People have to be happy or sad or tired or sick before he calls action. So if you think of these examples in the movie, Bale wore glasses. Before he called action, Bale had to be wearing those glasses. They had to put the glasses on that actor. So this would be imperfecto. Bale llevaba gafas. Or our newer word for glasses, lentes. Bale was so cute. It's not very hard to make that kid look cute, but whoever's in charge of wardrobe had to dress him in that adorable school uniform, and they had to cut his hair like that and give him those big glasses to make him look so cute. So, Bale era tan lindo. We could also say bonito. Almost all of his dad's girlfriends were blonde. So once again, whoever was in charge of makeup had to make sure they had blonde wigs or they dyed their hair when they referred to the girlfriends in the movie, when they showed other scenes of the girlfriends. Casi todas las novias de su papá eran rubias. So now let's go to the pretérito side and pick up that analogy again of the director of a movie. With the imperfecto, all the stuff that has to be in place before he calls action. We're going to think about before he calls action again. But now instead of all the stuff he has to have in place, we're going to say the stuff that he says to the actors, the directions he gives to the actors. First, you're going to go out there, you're going to see each other, you're going to kiss each other when you meet. All of those things that he tells the actors they have to do, that's going to be completed action. So Bale and Leticia kissed when they met. Bale y Leticia se besaron cuando se conocieron. Both are completed action. And then a lot of times you'll hear in people's descriptions or you'll see in writing that they'll have a list of completed actions. So first they ate pizza, there's a completed action. Now we're saying later they went, another completed action, and they took a walk, another completed action. Así chicos, primero Vale y Leticia comieron pizza. Más tarde, you could also say luego, either one will work. Fueron al cine. Y entonces dieron un paseo en el parque. parque. So now that you have the information down and you have a few examples, let's do some more application of this. So here is a paragraph about the movie, and I want you to think about which things did the director go over and say to the actors, hey, do this, do that. That would be completed action. And which things did he have to already have in place before he called action? That'll be imperfecto. One night, Vale's Uncle Chiche came for a surprise visit. Came here, it's not a description, it's a completed action. It was probably around 9 p.m. This would be description. They had to make it look like it was nighttime in the scene. When he arrived, completed action. It was dark out and the apartment shutters were closed. Both are description here. They had to have that set before he shouted action. There was music coming from the apartment. They also had to have the music playing before the scene started. The music was very loud, also description. Chiche knocked on the door and Vale opened it, both completed action. Think the director had to go over to both actors and say, okay, you're going to go knock on the door, then you're going to go open it. Here's further instructions for those actors. He shouted when he saw, so both completed actions. It was his uncle. This is not a completed action, this is description. Vale's uncle was tall and had dark hair. Both of those are descriptions as well. And he was about 40 years old and was much nicer than Vale's father. Also description. Vale's uncle picked him up, gave him a big hug, and kissed him. Here we have a list of completed actions. They had to have told the actor playing the part of the uncle these instructions before they called out action.